Hello families, thank you for clicking on this video on how we are going to be using a platform and program called SeeSaw this year to further extend your children's learning experiences. I hope you got to watch the previous video on building blocks. If not, check it out on our Clash YouTube channel. And that's the math program we're going to be using this year. Now I want to shift focus to SeeSaw, as it's called. It's a brand new program. It's the first time myself and Annie and our school has used it. If you have a child who's in an older grade and is doing remote learning, they are probably already on the platform. They began when school started. We wanted to take our time. We figured, especially with the kids being so young and us having them in person 4 days a week, that we were able to have a little bit of time and to get our feet wet in it. The last few days, we've been launching it with the children, and they've responded wonderfully to it. It's been really amazing to see how quick they pick it up. It was my hope that by spending about 4 or 5 days reviewing the computer before we sent it home, that if you need any help, your child will be able to show you what to do and walk you through it. But if not, that's what this video is for. So let's begin. When your child logs onto their Chromebook Touch, you can find their username and password taped above the keyboard. It's the year of graduation, which is 34, the first initial of their first name, and then their last name. The password will be their date of birth, the month, day, and year. So if your child's birthday was September 1st, 2015, the password would be 09012015. If you ever lose that for whatever reason, feel free to email me or message me and I'll send it back out to you. But that is how you will be logging on to all of these programs and devices. What you're looking at is the desktop for the Chromebook Touch. When your child starts their computer, they will put their password in, and this is the first thing that they're going to see. You can see at the bottom the Google Chrome icon. We call it the rainbow circle at school, and the children know to launch anything. We always click that. So let's click it together now. And I'm going to minimize my video, but you should still be able to hear me. Put myself in the corner. All right. So what launched right now is something that we use called the Launchpad. The Launchpad has all of the different programs that you or your child will be using this year. And we're not even going to be using all of them, but they will all appear on this one page. You can see Gmail, Gmeet, a program called Raz Kids, which we'll get into later in the year, which is a reading program. Building blocks here on the left, which we are using, and you can check out that building block video as I mentioned before. And right now we're going to be looking at this one. It's called SeeSaw. Kids know what it looks like. So when it's time for them to log on to it, they are going to know the photo. They will know to look at that first letter, and they will know where it's located on the Launchpad. So let's get started. We're going to click SeeSaw. Loading application. Now we're going to be using SeeSaw for a few different things this year. There might be math activities. There could be literacy activities, letter activities, science activities. And when your child logs on, they are going to see whatever activity is assigned to them. I just want to point out some of the features of the webpage. Over here, you can see a journal tab. If you click on the journal, you're going to see all the things your child has done. I am using Ein's computer, but every child will be doing the same activity. So you can see Ein did a build a turkey activity. We did it on Monday at 10:23 a.m. Underneath that, we did a shape activity that morning as well at 9:46 in the morning. Keep scrolling down. You can see some other activities we've done. So we've been getting our feet wet, as I've said. We really want kids to feel comfortable with it to help you learn the platform now. If you notice some play button, it means that there is an audio recording attached to the activity. So for instance, in this activity, children had to trace the shapes, circle, triangle, square, and rectangle. And then I had them record what they see, name the shapes that they've just drawn. So let's listen to that for a second.
I see circle, triangle, rectangle,
And it's just that. Not all the activities will have an audio recording to them. You might notice the shape sort one had no audio recording to it. So that's the journal. Let's click back to the activity tab now. When it's time for your child to complete an activity, you will see the instructions listed next to it. So this activity that I've loaded for the demo is called Farm Color Sort. Number 1, click on the Add Response button. Direction number 2, use the finger tool to sort the fruits and vegetables into the correct basket. Direction number 3, click the green check mark when you are all done. So the directions will always be here, and they usually have a little picture to accompany them. I've already started teaching some of the directions to the kids, so they always know when they're ready for an activity. We begin it by hitting Add Response. Direction number 2, it says use the finger tool. That's going to be important, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment. And direction number 3, click the check mark when you're done. So let's begin the activity and take a look at what it's going to look like for your child on SeeSaw. All the activities will look like this in terms of the options on the side of the screen and at the bottom of the screen, to the right of the screen as well. The bottom is really important because that's the means in which your child is going to complete the activity. So it might be an activity where they're going to be drawing or coloring. So they could pick, the crayon, the marker. They could pick their own color, to draw and write with. On the right side, they can move up and down to pick a color they like. If they make a mistake, they could hit the eraser button and erase it. But this activity, it said we're going to be using the finger tool. So we have to click over here. It's important to pick the tool that the direction says because you need that tool selected before you begin. For instance, if we just launched right into the activity and tried to move these fruits and vegetables without hitting that finger tool, it wouldn't work. As you can see, let's say I'll click the pencil to show you, and I'm trying to move it and it's just not doing it, and instead it's drawing a line. So always make sure, and your child is learning this too, it's only been a few days, so it's new for them, but always make sure that they select what the direction says. I'm going to go ahead and select the finger tool. So this activity, it's going to have the kids sort vegetables based on their color, fruits and vegetables by the color. And there's a green bucket, a red, a yellow, an orange, and a purple bucket. To the left of the screen, you're going to see a T for text box. We're not going to use that much because that's for kids to write responses. As I mentioned, this program SeeSaw is used for kids in older grades where they do write as a way of responding to a lot of the assignments, but we're not going to have them do that. What we will probably have them do, though, is hit the microphone button to record the response or the camera button to take a picture of something for the response. Just to show you the microphone button really quick, and kids know how it works too. They have to hit the microphone, and then we're teaching the kids to look for the red. When the red pops up on the screen, it means it's time to talk. Talk, 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 yada, yada, yada. Kids might need a little bit of prompting, but it will be recording them. And we've been practicing with them. When they're done, they have to remember to hit done. Done talking. The audio will then pop up there. So Annie, Christina, and I have been having the kids use the audio part at the end of the assignment, just so that's not in their way when they do it. But you could even click on that then in here. When the red pops up on the screen, it means it's time to talk. Talk, 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 yada, yada, yada. Kids might need a little bit of prompt. Yep. So that's the audio. And you could, delete the audio too. You could re-record it just by hitting that button again. It says re-record, start new recording. So that's the audio button. And remember, you just have to hit that check mark when you're done talking. Camera, same thing. You can hit the camera, take a picture. Maybe the assignment might be find something in your house that is a triangle and your child found a slice of pizza from last night. They could bring the pizza over, they could hold it up, take a picture. That is the camera feature. And down here, we just have some other shapes, backgrounds, and links, but we're not going to be using that feature. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main thing and back to the assignment, which was to sort the fruits and vegetables by color. That finger tool is selected. We've been telling kids to make sure that when they are moving something, sorry about that. Let's see. Click off that. There we go. That when they're moving something, a feature of SeeSaw that I don't like too much is that even though you can move something, it's still an edible item, meaning that if your child were to click on the side, it would actually make the item get huge. It would rotate the item if they clicked up there. It's kind of an annoying part of SeeSaw, to be honest with you. I've actually tweeted at the company and wrote to them saying, especially for early childhood, is there a way that we could lock these items? But as of right now, there's not. So what we've been telling the kids is that when you go to move an item, you have to avoid those white circles around the item. Pretend they're like an electric field. You have to avoid that and put your finger right in the middle of the item and then drag it to where it needs to go. Right, and that's how they would complete the activity. Whether it's a sorting activity or a writing activity. I showed you a few minutes ago that the first activity did was actually a shape trace activity. So they went to the bottom and picked one of the markers or pen writing tools. And those are the type of activities we'll be doing most of the time on SeeSaw. So they would go through the whole activity, and then when they are all done, they will click this green check mark up here. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then it will bring you back to this screen, and it says waiting for teacher approval. And Annie, Christine, and I will get a notification that the assignment was turned in, and then we will review it. But that is how we use SeeSaw. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. As I said, it's a brand new program for me as well as Annie, and I know it's brand new to you, so we will learn it together. But so far, the kids have been amazing. They've really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to extending that learning at home. So you might see now every week that we have a SeeSaw activity or a building block activity, and that is how you will be expected to complete it. Thank you for checking this video out. If you want, feel free to go back and rewatch it, and make sure you watch the building block video as well. Thank you again.